What's up, everybody? I'm the BurningSkyCloud, and welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings. So, we're on Chapter 4. We had a nice time with Idine, a nice dinner date with Remy. Something was going on up the portal, and I'm guessing we're going to get more bad news. So, let's see let's see what actually happened. I awoke with my eyes fixed on the ceiling wallpaper. A sense of dread lingered from a nightmare I no longer remembered. So, how many more times would I see this apartment before I return to my own world? Or before something happened to me? I got ready for the day and tried to shake off those thoughts. Here we go. Hey, Scaly. I'm hearing bad tidings. and right on the minute. You show up at this time every day, like clockwork. Clocks are reliable, and reliable is good in this line of work. I've got something for you. An envelope from the facility. Oh, these are the results from the tests Anna ran on my blood. She must have sent this before she was... No, it's no use thinking about that now. Maybe the test results will be able to help us. Let's see. Remarkable similarities in genetic makeup, particularly the brain structure. Oh, I suppose this isn't the only reason you're here. The chief will explain everything once we get there. Let's not keep him waiting, shall we? Well, at least Bryce is alright. We arrived at a place that would look like an ordinary house, and cued the dreaded music, had it not been for its extraordinary size. It reminded me more of a hostel than a family home. Never heard of that word before. Or maybe I have, but I never really put much thought into it. Chief. There you are. Wait, weren't you supposed to be with Emira? Luckily, she doesn't work every day of the week. I see. Anyway, we're nearly done here, so I'll keep it short. Reza broke into the hatchery. There was another murder victim, an employee of the hatchery who was on night duty. Her body was found quite away from here. There's evidence of a struggle, but she covered a lot of distance before it was ultimately over. Loud bangs were heard from the area her body was found. She had numerous wounds consistent with both the wounds of the previous victims and that other weapon he has. By this point, news of another corpse didn't have the same impact anymore. She was just another one of Reza's faceless victims. A hatchery? Is that what this building is? Well, not only. It's a council-owned building, and they like keeping everything related to their sector under the same roof. So, besides the hatchery, there's also an orphanage and a family clinic inside. No, 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 no! Don't tell me it's who I think it is! There are also offices related to the administration of those services. That reminds me of the protection facility. It should. They have a similar management structure. Can we get back to the case? Sorry for the interruption, Chief. Wait a minute, if an orphanage is in there too... There are no other casualties. But Reza got something else when he broke in. A generator. As well as a few eggs. Why eggs? Luckily, the power was restored before anything happened to all the other eggs left inside. But needless to say, the parents of the stolen eggs are not going to be happy. Why would he steal eggs in the first place? Maybe you can tell us. That's why you're here, after all. I don't know. I have no idea what he would even do with them. Maybe he wants to use them as a bargaining chip. After all, he still has to make his escape, and the portal was still broken. Do you think he wants to exchange them for a safe passage through the portal? Maybe. It's still broken though, so I'm not sure if that would be much help. Maybe he has the part needed to repair it, and now has everything he needs to escape. He could trade the eggs for safe passage, fix the portal, and leave. And that's not the only possibility. He may not be the one who broke the portal. Maybe he thinks you've intentionally sabotaged it so he can't leave, and he feels he needs the eggs as bargaining chips to get you to repair it. If he just wanted to leave, I feel like he could have done that already. It doesn't even matter who sabotaged the portal. We only know that Reza's actions are becoming more and more desperate. He kidnapped defenseless eggs and even used the human weapon. Something's clearly going on with him. Maybe it means that he'll slip up soon. Who knows? Maybe he already has. In any case, we're done here. Let's head back to the department and decide what to do next. Hopefully, some of the test results will tell us something. Okay, good, it's not a dine. Well, at least I hope it's not a dine. Maybe it was just a member of management on night duty. After a brief walk, we were in Bryce's office again. Initial test results had already come in, but didn't reveal any insightful or new information. So what do we do now? Go over the timeline again? Not yet. There are a few things I'd like to take care of first. What do you have in mind? Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Come in. Maverick, what are you doing here? Chief, can I talk to you? Alone? We're quite busy here, Maverick. What is this about? Reza. Well, you're looking at the Reza task force, so if you have anything to say, you can say it in front of all of us. Yeah, I see. I think I know where Reza is. You know where Reza is at this very moment? I have good reason to believe that I have located his hideout. He could still be there, or he might have already moved on. Damn, Maverick! Tell me everything! I've been tracking him for a while now. Yo, good job! Even though you're technically on vacation leave, that's still not gonna stop you. When he was at the portal a few days ago, I nearly got him and managed to follow him for a while before I lost him. Based on that, where he's been and where his victims have been found, I could triangulate his whereabouts. Yo, nice detective work, Maverick! He has to live somewhere, right? He needs a base to hide the generators and everything he has stolen. Bryce cleared the clutter on a table and smoothed out a map of the town on its surface. It already had a few locations related to the case marked on it. Show it to me. Prior victims were found here, and here. Today's was here. She was following him, likely because she wanted to save the eggs he stole. This is the path he took from the portal when I followed him a few days ago. So we have established this as his area of operation. Extrapolate it, and we can narrow it down to this. Now, where could he be hidden in this area? He's certainly not within the village borders, so unless he's decided to live in the wilderness or in a hole in the ground, the only option is here. The abandoned farm. When did you figure all of this out? Just a few minutes ago. When I did, I immediately came here. Damn it, Maverick! This might be it! Should we send an observation team? As if we had one to spare. Heck, we're going there right now. What about you, Maverick? I'm still on sick leave, remember? Besides, if I saw Reza right now, I'd probably do something I shouldn't. How about you, Skoy? Isn't this going to be dangerous? Reza probably won't harm you, as you're the only one who he could possibly consider an ally. Good point. If anything, with you there, we might be able to convince him to give up. Or we could act like we intend to trade you for the eggs if he tries to use them as a bargaining chip. You're not really going to use me as ransom, right? We'll see about that. I suppose if it's necessary, I'll have to play along. I've got your back. If there's one thing we could do to make this whole situation even worse, it would be messing up with you. We have the element of surprise if we walk into his base right now, but we risk Reza lashing out with his weapon. If we want to resolve this peacefully, observation is probably the way to go. I guess we won't need Scoy there for that, though. True enough. Alright, Scoy. You stay here and wait for further instructions. We may need you at a moment's notice. Don't do anything without us telling you to. Understand? Okay. Alright then. Let's go, Sebastian. After you, Chief. And Maverick, good job. Thanks, Chief. Shortly after they finished, Maverick also turned to leave. I'm out. Peace. And then I had to wait. Bryce and Sebastian were observing the farm now, and if anything new happened, I would be the first to know. I spent some time looking around Bryce's office, studying all the material he had gathered about the case, though there wasn't any information that I didn't already know. After a few hours, the telephone in his office rang, and not sure whether the call was intended for me or Bryce. I picked up. Scoy? Yes? I think you need to come here. I'll give you the directions. No problem. Alright, finally, the case is getting solved. There you are. So what happened? A whole lot of nothing. There was no movement to or from the building in the time we've been watching. He usually operates during the night, so maybe he's just asleep. In that case, it would be best for us to go in before he has the chance to make his escape. Or maybe he's not even in there anymore. He could have seen us and stepped away unnoticed, with plenty of time to destroy the evidence while we've been waiting here. You're right. Either way, either he's still inside, or he's already gone and not coming back. Let's go in. What should I do? You're coming with me. Sebastian, you walk around and watch the back of the building, just in case he tries to escape. I'm on it, Chief. I go in, and you stay here, alright? What am I even here for, then? You're our insurance. If Reza tries to flee and sees you, it might throw him off. You might be able to stop him. Or if we get into a standoff, I can tell him you're here as well. I just don't want you to come inside when it could become dangerous. I would say let me go in first. Why? Maybe I can talk to him and we can figure things out. I don't think he wants to kill me, so even if it doesn't work out, Sebastian and you will still be nearby to catch him. I'll be right behind you, then. But do be careful. We slowly made our way to the front door. I took a deep breath and tried to prepare myself for the possibility of facing Reza. The tense scenarios and things I could say to him rushed through my head as I pressed down on the door handle. The door inched open with a creak, but I noticed a slight resistance and a strange sound that suddenly made me hesitate. Oh! When I looked down to the source of the noise, I saw a taut wire through the gap in the door, hovering over the floor of the entryway. Oh my goodness, it's a good thing I went in first. That was a pretty close call, you know. Too bad Reza wasn't here after all. Maybe he ran when he saw us approach. Strange for him to leave everything behind, though. Everything he's stolen. All the generators are still here. Do you think the trap was for us in particular? Probably not. It was likely more of a general safety precaution. If he had any time to prepare for this, he would have taken the stuff with him. True enough. I had no idea you could make a bomb out of a generator. Yo. If that door was opened any further, that place would have gone kablooey. And you just haven't been with us long enough. If you know how, it's not even that complicated. And Reza somehow figured it out? Apparently so. Does he have any skills pertaining to engineering or electricity? Well, he's worked on cars before and fixes a lot of things back home. I guess that would qualify. He could also have done his own research. Either way, this makes him even more dangerous. At least we now have a whole building's worth of clues. Skoy, can you get to your apartment from here? We'll be busy with this scene for a while. No problem. I'll leave you to your work then. Good job, Skoy. Thanks. Imagine if Reza was like in our apartment after we got home. I'm surprised you called me back so quickly. How's the investigation going? Oh, the investigation is going swimmingly. But as you can expect, we need all the help we can get. As usual, with how this case has been going, we've realized we must employ external help. Oh? Yeah, we've requested assistance from one of the cities. We hope they'll send some good investigators our way soon. I see. We were so close today. He could have been in there, you know. Maybe we just came a few minutes too late. And if he knows how to make bombs from generators, who's to say he won't start using them elsewhere? At least he doesn't have any right now, does he? You said all the generators that were stolen are now accounted for. True. Still, this whole case has grown to be too much for a small town police department. I hope you'll get all the help you'll need. Me too. But right now, you can help us again. Well, what do you have for me? When we searched the building, we found more than the things Reza stole. We also found this bloody bandage. Do you think that's his? That's what we need to find out. But given all that we know, it probably is. So he's wounded. We know he was injured during the fight with his first victim, but whether this is from the same wound or something else, I'm not sure. In any case, you could bring it into the lab for us to find out more. Sure. Next, we have a witness who reported hearing loud bangs during the night. We'd like to send someone to make a follow-up visit. You'll need to confirm the witness statement, and then see if he has anything new to share. Also, now that we have reclaimed your PDAs, we're going to send one to the archives for analysis. Since they have experience with human artifacts, they're better suited to do it than any of our departments. No problem. And lastly, we have the eggs. It's a relief that we found them unharmed in the building. They're safe and ready to be sent back to the hatchery. Shouldn't we take care of those first? It's not as urgent as you might think. Our eggs are really resilient. Being in the care of the hatchery is more an insurance than a requirement. Some people choose to keep them in their own home until they hatch, rather than having the hatchery take care of it. The hatchery has been notified, but they won't be able to send someone for a few hours. I've heard that they're really understaffed. Wow, a lot of understaffed people, dragons here. If you bring the eggs and the paperwork to them, you'd speed up the process, but it's not an urgent matter. I see. In any case, I'll just leave everything here until I get to it, so feel free to do these tasks as you wish. I know it's laughable that we don't even have a free hand for simple errands. Don't worry about it. By the way, are you planning to attend the summer festival? Should I? It's hard to think about something fun when I'm wrapped up in this investigation. For sure. It's important to take a short rest so you don't lose your head. There's so much to see at the festival, particularly the big fireworks. Dragons enjoy fireworks too? I would think something like that would feel so commonplace, since many of you breathe fire. It's not quite the same. We still appreciate the wonder of colorful bursts in the sky. On the last day, there's always a big fireworks show. Oh! How do I go back again? Oh. Alright, here we go. Everyone usually attends it. Everyone? Everyone! Yes, it has a great tradition behind it. What peeves me the most is that I'll be on guard duty. What peeves me the most is that I'll be on guard duty when it happens this year, so I probably won't be able to see a thing. I'll be sure not to miss it then. Anyways, I should get back to the investigation now. I'll leave the stuff for you here, and I'll take care of the rest once I get back, alright? Sure thing. Good luck, Scoy. You too. Oh my goodness. Well, I guess I'll take the bandage to the facility. Or no. Or maybe I can visit the witness. Another one. Can I help you? You must be Ipsum, is that right? Yes. I'm working with the police and hope you could answer a few questions. Oh? Do you have any news about my roommate? This is about the noises you heard last night. What is going on with your roommate? He went missing a few days ago. I already talked to someone from the police about this, but I haven't heard back from them since. I'm sorry. This is the first I've heard about this. I don't know what happened to him. He didn't go on vacation, nor did he suddenly decide to visit the next town. I'd know if he did. He would have told me. Honestly, I find it odd that when someone goes missing, I don't hear back for several days. But when I hear loud banging noises during the night, the police send someone over immediately. I'm sorry, but I don't think I want to talk about this right now. Well, that didn't go as planned. I really want to take it to the facility. I hope this is the right place. Ah, you again. Can I help you? Yeah, I'm just dropping this evidence off on behalf of the police. From the Reza case, right? I already read the memo. Yep. Well, here you go. Thanks. I'll get right to it. Oh, that was easy. Thanks for all your help. Now that the facility has received the bandage, maybe we'll discover something new. I'll take care of the remaining tasks, so you can take the rest of the day off. I'm sure you have things to do other than helping the police department. It's no problem, really. My trip to your world wasn't supposed to be a vacation. Alright then, I'll see you next time. See you! After this fateful day, I was glad to finally have some sort of respite. I wandered into the kitchen as I considered tonight's dinner. Should I cook something or order out? When I returned to the living room, I suddenly found my strength leaving me and collapsed to the floor. What? What? The next thing I saw was a blurry stone ceiling. Ah, crap, Reza was in there after all. I was right! He was waiting to ambush me. As my eyesight slowly returned, I managed to sit up. I was in a cave, and before me stood a familiar, mysterious face. I apologize for the violence, but I can assure you it was the easiest way. Where am I? Is this your hideout? Just a temporary accommodation so we can be undisturbed for this meeting. Someone else used to live here until recently. Do you know who I am? Well, you're not Reza. Good. What did it take for you to figure that out? Since you're not whispering anymore, I can hear it clearly in your voice. I had a feeling that you couldn't be him since the first time we met, though. Oh, so, okay, I was right. So there had to be someone else. Which first time are you talking about? The generator in the ceiling, when you pushed me. I see. You can call me the administrator. No other humans are supposed to be here, though. I assume that's why you're wearing the mask. You don't want to be recognized. That is correct. Whoever you are, you also saved my life. On more than one occasion. Your presence here doesn't make any sense. You couldn't have come through the portal. The dragons would have noticed. This is where you are wrong. Uh, uh, my arrival through the portal was what led the dragons to discover it in the first place. I see. Is that so? When I crawled out from the hole in the earth that hid the portal, there were no guards to discover me. My appearance exposed the portal, but the dragons didn't know it was there yet. Huh. So you've been hiding out here this whole time. The plot thing. So then where the hell is Reza? So you arrived even before Reza. That makes you the actual first human to come to this world. That is more true than you might think. Just who are you then? I may have arrived at the portal like you, but my story is very different. Before the fall of humanity, I was an engineer. I was part of a team that was formed to create bioweapons. Our task was to create these bioweapons in a country where their development hadn't yet been regulated or outlawed. These weapons were planned to be a low-cost alternative for poor countries to wage war, so they would no longer have to rely on expensive drones and machines for warfare. Huh. I was to set up the lab where our bioweapon development would take place. It was a clandestine operation, set to be in the middle of the wilderness. The laboratory was an independent research and living unit, and provided everything we needed without having to rely on external resources, or even an existing power grid. Everything was to be teleported right into the middle of nowhere, with no traces of a paper trail to follow, so international communities and law enforcement would have no idea of our operations. I see, that's a really clever way to do it. Our only connection to the outside world after setup would have been a two-way portal to our headquarters, who would provide everything we needed. While we already could teleport individual people, teleporting a whole building was another matter entirely. Our solution was matter compression technology, incredibly expensive, but operating in the gray market was also very lucrative. The technology behind it was much more complicated than even teleportation, despite being based on it. While teleportation works by utilizing black holes with a beginning and an end, compression technology relies on a loop, keeping matter in a sort of limbo state until the loop is broken. Working with black holes was very complicated to begin with, but this shape required much more finesse, and thus was much more expensive. I was to be sent alone to set up the lab and the portal, so the rest of the team could arrive safely. So what happened? In case you didn't know, it is possible to use a portal to send someone to a previously defined endpoint. Therefore, it is not required to have a portal at the destination to be sent there. But as you can imagine, this is also very dangerous. A single variable off by a fraction could mean the difference between landing safely at your destination and smothering in space. Of course, my employer did not want anything like that to happen. Not necessarily for my own sake, but because of all the unfathomably expensive equipment I had with me. Regardless, something went wrong anyway. Despite all their checks and safeguards, they could only minimize the risk so much. Even if the risk is a fraction of a fraction, sometimes you are just that unlucky. And sometimes, it turns out that your bad luck is a blessing in disguise. I arrived safely somewhere in the jungles of Earth, yet it was not the destination that had been planned. I knew something was off, but nevertheless, I set to work immediately. At the very least, I could prepare the building. I would have shelter, and then I could begin preparations for our project. Getting the portal into working order would take more time, as it was a complicated process that could take several weeks. If things had gone wrong as I suspected, I would at least be able to establish contact with headquarters after the portal had been set up, and I would be able to return. While teleporting the lab to the wrong location was certainly a costly mistake, I was still lucky to have my life. Before long, I discovered the truth about the place I had arrived. While I was still on Earth, it was not the Earth I knew. It was the Earth of 65 million years ago. We knew that by utilizing black holes for teleportation, time travel was a theoretical possibility. It was something even my company didn't dare to attempt, though, as teleportation in itself was still a very new technology. Yet here I was, 65 years in the past, with a research station all to myself. The company would reveal the opportunity to study and profit from all the different life forms I could see. If only they knew about them. I spent the few weeks setting up the portal as planned, yet when I tried to re-establish contact with my employer, I was met with silence. Despite the time discrepancy, the portal should have been able to find my companies in the present. For a black hole, sending something through time is no different than sending something through space. However, when we built the portals, we gave them a specialized configuration. It was only possible to travel through space by aligning them across the time axis. That meant that I, in the past, would still be able to search for portals in the present to connect with. My counterparts in the present, though, would not be able to find me in the past even if they tried. But I couldn't find them, not a single one. Even after checking the portal for its function, I determined that, for all intents and purposes, the portals from the company should have been there to connect with. It was then that I had a terrible realization. The portals in the present didn't exist anymore, and were no longer operational. Yikes. How? Maybe the blunder of teleporting in the lab caused them to reconsider the risks of using this technology. After all, it was already controversial and had been outlawed in several countries. I wouldn't have been surprised if they decided to cut their losses, but it was highly unlikely that they would have immediately shut down every single portal and left me stranded without notice. Portal technology was still being relied on in several places in the present. In my mind, only one possibility remained: superweapons. Various nations had been using them as bargaining chips for some time. I didn't think the threats had become that serious, but one of them must have launched their weapon and destroyed the majority of Earth. Huh. So shortly after he left, I guess everything went to shit. And then he got stuck. It could have been the result of a malfunction, or perhaps the political situation had escalated. Either way, it was not possible for me to establish any means of communication to find out what had really happened. I could have sent myself back into the present with the right coordinates, but this was a risky endeavor, and I also had to ask myself if it was a present I wanted to return to. I was sure that if anything was even left of our world, the aftermath or a possible retaliatory strike would take care of the rest. In the end, I had to realize that whichever present did exist was likely not one that was worth returning to. It made my decision all the easier. Instead of returning to a destroyed civilization, I saw an opportunity. Rather than creating bioweapons, I could use the lab to create a new civilization, shaped by my own ideals. I had all the necessary data, and the most modern methods and machines at my fingertips. Besides, most of the processes had already been automated. In the end, I still used the lab for what it had been created for, fusing human and animal DNA to create beings that were mostly animal, but possessed a greater intelligence that allowed them to learn whatever we wanted them to. I see. So the dragons came from you! As I didn't have any animal samples sent with me when I initially arrived, I collected them from the sources available to me. Automated processes mixed the DNA further across the samples. New abilities were added like enhanced armor, flight, and spit weapons to make the new creatures more effective in combat. The result was a number of different species, each tailored and optimized to fill a specific role in a war situation. Hormones allowed me to speed up their growth, and with the lab's learning program, they could be educated in whatever manner I saw fit. My first concern was self-sufficiency. They needed the kind of knowledge that would enable them to come together as their own independent society. Luckily, The AI that automated all the processes in the lab was more than helpful. I unleashed the first generation of my creation, and as their leader, founded our first village. I thought we could really pull it off, and once I saw that they could survive without my guidance, and also govern themselves, I knew my plan was a success. When I realized that this new society would eventually be destroyed, I told myself that I would do anything I could to save it. Destroyed? What are you talking about? Haven't you realized where we are? The Chicxulub asteroid is headed for us. That explains what. Oh, then that would mean that Reza knows about him, the administrator. That's why Reza wanted to get out of there so quick, so soon. Now it makes sense. With a diameter of over 10 kilometers, its impact will create humongous clouds of dust, throwing Earth into a literal dark age. They will block out the sunlight for over a year, killing off many species of plants that rely on photosynthesis to survive. As a result, animals that eat those plants will also vanish, as those who sought sustenance from these herbivores. All in all, 75% of all species will vanish, and in terrestrial ecosystems, all animals heavier than a single kilogram will die. That would be 2.2 pounds, in case you didn't know. It will be the end of everyone who lives here, every single dragon you have seen, unless we do something. We? What am I supposed to do? Do you not wish to save them? I came here to help humanity. Now you tell me that this society, this whole world, is also on the brink of extinction? That is the truth. What kind of difference could a single person like me even make to save it? Right now, it's also a single person that presents its greatest threat. Reza? How? In order to stop the comet, we will need as much power as possible. We reclaimed all the generators he stole. Besides, how could a few of them be enough to make a difference for something like this? Don't forget that Reza is still out there, looking for more. The truth is, I don't know if all the generators we could gather would ever be enough. We only require enough power to divert the comet's path during a crucial moment, but even if this plan is possible, we will still need every single generator we can get. So my goal hasn't changed. I just need to find Reza. Yes, but you'll need my help, and maybe the help of others. You know that Reza is dangerous, and with his gun, he has a clear advantage. Don't think that he wouldn't hesitate to kill you if you were in his way. Then what shall we do? Do you know where he is? No, but I think you'll find him soon, and you can count on my support when that happens. I see. There is one thing that still doesn't make sense to me, though. The dragons have myths about you, but they don't know or remember you. They haven't seen any humans for who knows how long. How much time could have passed since you created them and now? How many generations could it take to forget? Why isn't there proof of your existence? I don't know exactly how long it's been myself. When I realized what time period I was in, and that my creation was about to be wiped out in the future, I wanted to go to that future and see what they had become. I disabled the portal's time axis safeguards, and thus enabled it to connect with others in different times. This also included the very same portal in the future. With the generator of our lab being able to supply the portal with power for an indefinite amount of time, I was able to travel to any point in the future I wanted to. The entry and end point of the black hole would be the same place and the same portal, with the way traveled being just along the time axis. Since I could now search for connection points in any time period, I could look for my own portal in the future and pinpoint the moment its signal stopped. The comet. Exactly. I found that specific point in time and traveled to a future that was as close to that event as I could safely manage. After I arrived here, my escape from the portal's hiding place led to its discovery by the dragons. It and the laboratory were unearthed. So he accidentally revealed the portal and the laboratory. I still don't understand how our portal found yours, or why we ended up arriving at this particular time period. The portal you found was no doubt one of my company's. They must have been connected before, so the corresponding data for their connection already existed when you found it. I'm not sure if that could bypass the anti-time travel safeguards, though. Was it completely operational when you found it? No. It took a bit of tinkering. Probably jumping the hardware safeguard in the process. Now, consider that connected portals travel along the time axis together. The data for their beginning and end points are adjusted automatically. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to transport anything from one place in the world to another without also sending it through time. Since these two portals must have been connected at some point, the corresponding data for the connection between those two portals already existed. When using the same connection without changing any of the data, this would mean that despite the time discrepancy between those two portals, time still progressed linearly for them. I'm not sure I understand. Let me try to rephrase that. The portal you found in my own share a connection. However, while the connection is locked to a certain place, which is wherever the portal is at that very moment, it is not connected to a specific point in time. So I'm guessing it's random? Like it doesn't connect at a specific point in history. For us and the physical machines that are these portals, time passes linearly and we can't do anything about that. However, for the black holes, this isn't the case. Just as their entry and endpoints can be in different places, they can also be in different times. In order to not send something through time when we just want to transport something from one portal to another, the portals are anchored together in such a way that the time data is automatically synchronized. Essentially, this means that ever since you arrived in this world, the same amount of time that has passed for you has also passed in the place where you came from. So it's been at least, 3 days? I see. So despite being in different time periods, time still passes linearly on both sides of the portals. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been possible for you to send messages back and forth to each other. If they were not synchronized, the portals on both sides would stay connected not only to a single point in space, but also to a single point in time, thus making proper two-way communication impossible. However, this is only possible through the connection that has already been forged. If we wanted to, we could also use our portal to send you back to your own time period, but to a moment before your Reza even arrived here. But that would mean there would be two of me, right? Wouldn't that cause a time paradox? I can only tell you that it would work. No one has studied time travel before, though, so if there are any consequences, then I am not sure of them. Most likely, an entirely new timeline would be created. There would be a timeline without a Scaly altogether, and in the new one, there would be two of you. This is becoming way too complicated. I hear you. I apologize. To come back to your original question, I am not sure how much time passed between the time I left my newborn society and now. Since the portal was not designed for time travel, I have no way of knowing how the variables translated to our perception of time. It could have been thousands or even millions of years. How could the portal or even its power source still be operational after all this time? The portal receives its power from the generator in the lab. These units were fitted with the absolute best technology we had to offer. It was designed to provide sustainable power completely independently from any already existing network or power lines. It gains energy from many sources: sun rays, Earth's heat, and movement, just to name a few. Keep in mind it had to power a whole laboratory and research station, while also providing the energy required for all of its inhabitants and the associated energy expenditures. Taking its power from Earth itself, a generator like this could continue providing power to the lab indefinitely. Speaking of which, why haven't I seen a single dinosaur since I arrived? It seems that the Dragon Society expanded over the whole continent. Many still hunt on their own for sustenance, and as such, the original species they were based on have mostly vanished, as in direct competition, ours proved to be far superior. Also, they have probably taken measures against having big predators roam their cities and villages. Yet, while the dragon population has increased tremendously, I have found that by and large, the society as a whole has not changed much. Is that why everything here looks like it was made for humans? I suppose so. The learning program I initially used gave them knowledge about things and how to create them. Yet, of course, those were only human inventions and designs. Did they never once stop to think that they should adjust how certain things look? A lot of the furniture and objects I've seen look very impractical for a dragon. I was surprised at that too, but I have an explanation for this phenomenon. Don't forget that their genome was designed by an AI programmed to make them into effective bioweapons. The idea was to have them indoctrinated at a young age. After reaching adolescence, their learning capacity would be greatly diminished. This resulted in subjects that would stay loyal and be unlikely to change their desired behaviors. Instincts also played a role, I imagine. I imagine they are very much at odds with their learned behavior. Instincts in animals never change, and instinctual behaviors will always be there. If a given trait has been programmed into their genome as an instinct, it is not very likely to change, even through numerous generations. We can see the result of this here. While I initially made them learn a certain set of values and knowledge, I have found that the expression of those ideas has hardly changed. And after I was gone, each new generation learned from its elders, and much of the initial knowledge and information was retained through all this time. Their genome as a whole did change, however, which was unavoidable over time. If they had been used as bioweapons as intended, they would have been nothing more than an army of identical clones. While I can see subtle changes in behaviors as a result, some traits are still very much present in them. They are content with what they have and don't strive for more. They don't innovate or change, so technological breakthroughs or new inventions are a rarity. It's quite the opposite, really. They very much value tradition, and there are ways which have not changed much in all these years. I see. How much time do we even have left to stop the comet? In a few weeks. The comet will pass the moon, and its gravity field will point the comet's trajectory toward Earth. This is when we need to be ready. If we strike then, we only need to minimally affect its path in order for the comet to pass Earth safely. It won't be enough time for the inhabitants of this world to prepare if Reza steals our greatest assets. So it's all about Reza and the generators, isn't it? Indeed. By the way, I fixed the portal in case we need to use it. Did you break it to prevent me from being sent away? No, that wasn't me. Reza better not use it to escape. Trust me, the portal is our greatest asset. I have programmed it with emergency coordinates. If you should find yourself in a hopeless situation and feel there is no other way out, go to the portal. I have made sure only you will be able to use them. Yo, Administrator, I'm digging ya. I'll keep that in mind. So what's your plan? What do we do now? I will resume my work, and you will continue yours. Find Reza. The Administrator turned to leave. Wait, what's with all the secrecy? Why are you still wearing that mask? Why don't we pull our research together and you show me your hideout? Don't you think it would be better if you were completely frank with me? But I can't be completely frank, because that's not my name. No, not now. A second later, the figure had already vanished into the darkness outside. When I followed, I realized that I wasn't sure how to get back to my apartment. Surrounded by trees in the blanket of night, it was hard to make out where I stood. After wandering through the underbrush, I realized that the lights on the horizon had to be coming from the village and made my way back. I returned to my apartment without much trouble. When I looked at the clock, I was surprised to see how much time had passed. Not having anything left to do for the day, I soon fell into a deep slumber. Well, isn't that some? Well, That's that's very ominous. So basically, we're 65 million years in the past, and the administrator created the dragons, who then hunted the dinosaurs down. But even so, they're in no uh, way safe because of this comet coming. I wonder how much that's going to change the present. Hmm. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to leave things here. That was quite a lot of reading. I mean, not this game, not that this dadgummit, I lost my train of thought. Not that this isn't the point of the whole game, but anywho, thank you everybody so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe to see more in the future. I'll catch you later.